Get started. So welcome everyone. Happy Monday. I'm Shannon. I'm the operations manager for Best Choice Realty. I have Candice here, our sales manager with Best Choice as well. And tonight we have a fun little treat. We've got Sava, our top producer from last year, that we have some questions we're going to ask her about her business and how she has had success in the last year, and hopefully we can get a nugget or two that we can apply to our own business. So, Candice, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yay, yay. Well, thank you. And thank you, Sava, for joining us today. Really excited to have you and have just the opportunity for you to share with us some of the things that kind of motivate you, what inspires you. I don't know, can you share with us, I think for starters, as top producer last year, do you remember how many actual transactions you did?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm very new at this, a little nervous for being up here with everybody, but I decided to do this because I think it's important to share, and sharing is caring. So yeah, last year I did about 32 transactions. I do have to say though, some of those were my own personal transactions, so maybe that doesn't quite count. But overall, it was a lot of work, but I really enjoyed it because
Absolutely.
I thrive in stress.
Yeah, and stress. Well, and it felt like to me last year was it was a year of stress. I feel like every transaction that I had was very challenging. How about you?
I mean, I think it's always the case, you have the really easy ones, the bad ones, that in the end, they kind of all just even each other out. I won't say it was more particularly stressful than other times. I think just the sheer of more transactions add to the stress.
Absolutely. And in a market where last year, I think a lot of people saw less production from kind of their normal, you actually kind of hyped it up and had an amazing year. So congratulations to that.
Thank you so
Um,
much. Appreciate the
yeah,
good
yeah,
vibes.
exactly, exactly. So let's start off with just a little bit of your background.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about Sava and who you are, kind of at work and maybe at home.
Sure. So I have been in the real estate business since 2015, but I haven't been doing it full time because as I was doing real estate, I was actually managing a dental practice for almost 2 decades, actually, at the same place. And actually, that's where it's the place that I met a lot of people and fostered a lot of relationships that I was eventually able to, merge into with my real estate world. But then I came to a point where I was just really running myself very thin, just kind of burnt out, and decided to about actually right around the time that I joined Best Choice, which was about 3 years ago, I believe. I decided to just go full time. And in retrospect, I wish I had done that earlier because it has been such an amazing journey and growth, personally, professionally. I wish I'd done that earlier, but it's never late to say,
Never too late. Yeah.
never too late. But yeah, so that really is a little bit of my background into the real estate business. What really kind of fueled that as well is that as I was working for dental practice, my husband and I decided to acquire a few properties, rental properties for ourselves, and just really realizing how that is just such a great way to build wealth comparing to what we're doing on our day-to-day jobs. I decided to, it just made so much sense to then just actually do that as a profession as well.
Right. Right. No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. What does Sava like to do for fun?
Chase the sun. I
Sun
grew up in a small Mediterranean country, and so we have like very distinct seasons. And so come summertime is summer, come winter it's like rough, but it's only 2 months, as opposed to like this gradual merging of all seasons together. And so we love anytime there is sun, we'll like to go hiking or even just hop on a plane somewhere close by that's inexpensive, like Vegas or California. We spend a lot of my real estate money chasing the sun, but just that I love people do a lot of hosting at home with friends and family, playing games. I do a lot of boot camping, not because I like to, but have to.
Yeah.
Play with my cat. So yeah, pretty chill.
I see in pictures that you are big on family. It feels like all your vacations, it's not just you kind of getting away, it's family, whether it's maybe like your sister or family from other places. I enjoy seeing, and
Yeah, it's a
it's very
caravan of people.
noticeable.
Always having people, friends join us last minute. I have a friend that can
Yeah.
join me. I love people, which comes
Yeah.
really handy in real estate.
Right, right, right. So what would you say? So what motivates you? What's your big why? I know that you said you started out in the dental field and then
Right.
kind of transitioned over, but when that happened, and it's like you said 3 years ago, I just did the switch, no more part-time, I'm full-time. What motivates you? What is the why?
Actually, as scary as that was, leaving such a very stable job, lucrative, I just realized that to build the kind of wealth and leave, get my kids as comfortable and set up for life as possible. I just realized that doing what I was doing, I could have done that for another 20 years, so wasn't going to reach those goals. So once that light clicked for me that this is real estate, I decided I can always go back. It's just another
Right.
job. So let's give it my full throttle, see where it goes. And yeah, even though I was doing really well in real estate, while I was actually, I remember writing a post on the Best Choice website asking for some advice. I had done 24 transactions while working a full-time job at a dental office, totally burnt out, but doing really well. And a lot of agents really encouraged me, saying, hey, 24 and working full-time job, it's amazing. You should quit now. And I did it. And so my why is as cliche as it can be. It's always family. To know that if something were to happen to us as parents, my kids are well set and they have a good path to be okay without us. It's my drive every day, and I'll never get tired of it.
That's so amazing. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, so can you just walk us through just like a day in the life of Sava on a weekly basis? What does your week look like?
Um, yes. So it's kind of unique. I do what makes sense to me. When I compare myself to what other people do, might not be the most traditional or the most common way of doing things, but I just feel like whatever, makes sense to you and you feel comfortable with, then go for it. I have a list of potential buyers, potential sellers that I always update with notes to touch base with. I put my calendar updates on when to talk to about what, um, any information that may seem relevant. If I find properties that match, I don't say that I do that every day, maybe once a week.
Mhm.
I like to stay in touch with people, even if they're not quite ready, just kind of staying social. How are you doing, to make sure I'm top of mind. Um, yeah, so I just always constantly scouring the internet, scouring the new listings, keeping in touch with what's happening with the market. I have a great transaction coordinator that kind of like fills me in with what other agents are doing, what's the temperature on the market exactly, how many offers are they going
Mm,
through. And so just to stay as current and as relevant as possible.
I
So
really
it's not
like
like a
that.
daily routine, it's more like periodic system.
Right, right, right. I love how you said your transaction coordinator. There's somebody who's probably obviously working with other top producers. I think quite often I'm thinking of that too with our lender partners, our title partners, what are the top producers doing? I've never actually went to my
Exactly.
transaction coordinator and said,
Coordinator,
"Hey,
because they
what's the
see
temperature?"
everybody.
It's a
Yeah.
great idea. Definitely, definitely. So I heard you say that you have like a board. How do you communicate most? So with your clients, are you on the phone? Is it text? Is it email? What is I guess
Yeah, it's a
the
very
way
good
you
question.
communicate most often?
Actually, I don't even have a board. I use my notes app on my phone because the phone is
Oh,
one thing that everybody will always have on, right?
right.
Whereas my board, if I leave it at home or I don't always have access to that, I don't find it as helpful. But my
Mm-hmm.
notes, I always go there and I make updates on there very quickly, and it'll update my calendar simultaneously. So the notes app is the best. And then I also find out, as far as communicating with people, that people respond the best via text. Because you're reaching out people during the day when they are at work or grocery shopping or with their kids. I personally hate to get sales phone calls or even just a social call. But if somebody were to
Right,
text me, I can easily do it from any place without, looking like I'm taking time away
right.
from what I'm doing. So I find that the most effective. Also, Messenger, Facebook Messenger is great because I can
Okay.
tie that in with what I'm doing today.
Mhm.
For example, if I post a listing or I sold something I'm very successful, I can reach out to some people that I know are into the real estate,
Right,
know about,
right.
and I'd be like, hey, did you check my listing? If you know anybody. So just a really
Nice.
good way to kind of combine them too.
Well, that's
So
good.
texting,
That's good.
Facebook, and Instagramming. Another tool that I really, really like is it's provided by Fidelity. It's called Agent One, I believe.
Yep. Sh- Yep. Fidelity, Chicago Title, Tycor, they all have kind of like that same app. And so, yeah,
I
that's
love
a,
that app. Yeah.
I think we now in the new agent training, we go ahead and download one. It doesn't matter which one, they all kind of serve their
Do the
purpose.
same thing. And it
Yep.
looks so professional. It runs down net
Yeah.
proceeds, closing costs, all that. And it'll have your logo on there. So that looks very impressive when I use that for my listing presentations or even just as a screenshot and send as a text. It's pretty helpful.
That's wonderful. So, question for you. Have you or do you pay for coaching?
So contrary to most what people like to or say about paid coaching, I really don't. Just because I, by nature, I'm such a self-learner and very resourceful. So I feel like Google, ChatGPT are my best friends. There's people that like more of a structural way of learning. That's great. It's just not what I like to do because first it's costly and time consuming, whereas I can learn on my own at any time.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I follow a lot of experts online.
Okay, okay. Following them. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's see here. Have you done any scaling in your business? I know yet last year was an amazing year for you, but have you done any scaling in your business?
Yes, I think hiring a rock star, a transaction coordinator is really like the key to my success because she's so good. She works at the same level of urgency, advocacy that I do. And so I can just 100% count on her that sometimes she'll check my work and keep me
Mm,
on check. So hiring her, I also have been able to, my husband followed suit and he also gave up his comfortable architectural corporate job of 25 years to kind of combine
wow.
forces together. And so I
Mhm.
find that having that resource and extra hand and extra help while he's also doing his own projects has been very helpful because he has a design background where, if I go do a MIDI presentation, he can talk to somebody about, coding or zoning laws or what could be built to sellers or to buyers. And so it's kind of like free architecture consulting. So I'm able to utilize what I have in my family.
Right.
Like this is our makeup and somehow our worlds kind of combine together. And so
That's
that's been great. So it's my transaction coordinator, Ben. And then when I do staging, I'll have family members help me with loading stuff.
right,
Another
right.
thing that I've been able to scale is that I've been able to acquire some storage places where I can add staging items and
Staging
provide it as a
items.
part of the service at no cost to
Okay.
sellers.
Wow. And so also have storage for stage. So you're staging your properties, your listings.
Yeah, now I started with just like stealing things from my house. Like for a while, we'd have no dining chairs. And our beautiful pictures on the wall be going missing for a month to where little by little, between Facebook Marketplace, Ross and Marshall and Target, I think I've been able to acquire enough items to stage about 3 to 4 homes at the same time.
Wow. Wow.
So it's kind of
That's
exciting because I love that part. It just feels like really, especially from a seller's perspective, that I'm really
mhm,
going all out. I'm not just hiring a third party to do it. I
right.
can really read their place very well, and also having Ben with a design background, we can
Yeah.
really transform a place. And so it's
That's
really, really well
awesome.
received.
That is so awesome. I wish I had that ability. I just don't. I mean, I did for a little bit. I remember taking little items from my house and putting it in the bathrooms or towels, and I would go to like Ross and TJ Maxx and buy comforters just to do some basic stuff. And then finally, it's like, you know what? This is not your best
It's not
use
your
of
forte.
time.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
Well,
absolutely not.
luckily,
So,
I was able to find 2 properties off market that we're able to get ourselves. and they came with 2 giant detached garages. So we're able to rent the properties, but let them know that this is not available to you, it's available to me.
Oh, nice.
And so I don't
Okay.
really have to pay for it per se. It's kind of like part of the
Right.
business. So
It's
yeah.
there. Yeah. Yeah. At one
Yeah.
point, my husband was like, you've taken over the whole garage. This has got to go. It's got to go.
I'm available for you guys. Anybody that might want to rent them at a very, very affordable price, go for it, because sometimes it's so full that I wish that we're just like somewhere being staged.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's see here. Next question. What is something you wish you would have known before you became a real estate agent?
I thought about this one a little bit, and I wish I had known how wine would become very important in my life. So yeah, I get that at a discount now. But no, honestly, I wish I had known how much of a positive impact that made in my life, that I wish would have gone into it earlier than we did.
Earlier. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is also
I
something
get
that I
that.
also full-heartedly try to relay to buyers, and just the ones that have the fears, or renting out of for so many years out of fears because they won't be able to afford it, or it's just scary. I'm able to relay my personal story, let them know it might be
Absolutely.
scary, but housing, it's an essential need. No matter what, you'll always need housing. So it's
Right.
never wrong to buy into it. There will be fluctuations in the market, but in the long run, it's not just a home, but it's also a stepping stone to building wealth for your family.
Right. Right. No, that's wonderful. And then I would say, just to piggyback on that, what advice would you give to a new agent getting into the business?
Um, just a lot of grit and hustle and determination. Even after all these years, it never gets easier. You just have to put in your work. Just
Yeah.
never give up. And how hungry are you? Go out there and grab it.
Exactly. I hear that, I get that quite often too, and it's not easy, but I think, kind of like you said, you almost wish you would have done it sooner. So just get out and do it. Don't just do it. Do it now. And
Exactly.
later
Just
on,
don't
you'll
give
say,
up.
"Dang, I should have done that sooner. I wish I would have had a little more confidence in myself and just, jumped out on it." Yeah. Um, let's see here. And then, where do the majority of your clients come from?
I mean, as everybody would agree, the best clients are always the ones that are referred to me from happy previous clients. That's
Mhm.
just will never replace any other method.
Right.
I have some very loyal clients that will just swear by my advocacy for them. And so those are usually the best. I don't have to prep them very much. They have already have that trust built with me. I can get a buyer referral and I can close them in a month and a half because of
Right.
the trust is already built. So those are my primary resource of referrals. But I will just really take anything and anything from anywhere.
Right. Right.
I become members of the Redfin referral program, if some of you already do that or not.
Mhm.
Upnest, there's also like another referral program that is now actually
Right.
bought out by Realtor.com, I believe.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're pretty
Or
great. I've done quite a few deals from them. And then whenever I sell properties, I will ask Fidelity to send me a mile radius of buyers and sellers on that area, and then I'll just sell on mailers. So
that's good. That's
that's another
good.
source. Yeah.
Do you have so Fidelity, do you ask, is that very I know we've talked about, some farming and activities. Are you just mailing right around the address? Or are you having them dial in and be pretty specific on the most likely to list or sell
Yeah,
their
that's a
home?
very good point. You actually, so when you go farming in their website, I forgot what the name is, but I can always link it later for you guys. It does give you options to really filter exactly who you're trying to target. So you can say, price range, number of bedrooms,
Right.
age of property owners. So within, let's just say, a mile from where you sold, you can still filter it down. So that way you're not sending out a ton, it's more targeted because, it's also
Right.
pricey. So I
Right.
try to do it as targeted as I can, but
Right.
also as close to the property as I can because I can relate to that.
Got it. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's what I was curious of. So it sounds like so you have done some Redfin, OpCity, Realtor.com type leads. Would you say what percentage would you say of your business comes from those? I know you spoke highly of the referrals and how those transactions just kind of like continue. But what percentage would you say are from, Redfin or OpCity?
I would say it's really not a great percentage.
Okay.
I feel like if I were to combine all those different sources together, that are not personal referrals, right? I would say about maybe 40%.
Okay. 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 Wonderful. Wonderful. Let me see here. And then now I don't know if it's kind of shifted for you. I know for me, I think I'm going my 8th year in the business, but I'm actually seeing more sellers than I am seeing buyers. What percentage of buyers to sellers would you say you have now?
Um, I would say I think last year was more sellers, about 60% sellers, 40% buyers. Do
Okay.
I prefer buyers? 100%.
Okay. Just curious. It was like then that was number two. What do you prefer? Do you prefer working with buyers or sellers?
With buyers for sure, because I honestly think it's easier, even though there's a lot of driving, it's easier. It's a lot of pressure when you represent a seller, especially because
Mhm.
I do this full service where you know, I don't cut any corners, 3D photography, all those included, drone, all
Right.
those,
Right.
and staging, which takes a lot of man hours and power. And then,
Right.
is it going to sell for what they want? Did it get the attention that it needed? Ultimately,
Mhm.
you are the one to praise or to blame, depending on the
Right.
results. And so there's pressure. Whereas for buyers, you know what they want, so you go fight for it and get it. So I
Right.
just find it easier,
Right.
but I'll take anything.
Not
I
picky,
wish I had the
huh?
luxury to be very picky to say I prefer buyers in the $5 million range from here
Right.
to here. We're not there.
Right. No, yeah. Let's see here. Do you have any specific marketing tools that you use? I know you said Fidelity Agent, the app. Any other specific marketing tools that you use?
Um, I mean, one marketing issue, the one that you had recommended, is the publication that I send out quarterly.
Mm,
That's a hard one to really measure its success, but I believe that it keeps me top of mind. It has a
mm-hmm.
cute picture of
Yeah.
myself, and a ton of people think that I
Right.
write the articles, which I don't, obviously. I'm not also a writer on top of, everything else.
Right.
But I feel it's hard to gauge. But if I send it to about 100 most loyal
Right.
people, so I can keep the cost down and just have that consistently go out. It's kind of cute because people send me pictures sometimes, like I got your
Yep.
magazine. So
Right.
that's another
Exactly.
tool that is hard to say if it's working, but it must be working.
Right. You guys, that's what she's referencing is American Lifestyle. It's actually a magazine that is kind of like sent out, and they've got different home or food and little tear outs for recipes, design, health and fitness. Really nice. And it's geared around you as an agent. So your picture's on it. It looks like your own production. There's a place where you can carve out your own personalized message. Obviously, it's going to still 100 people. But it's called American Lifestyle. So if anybody wants more information on that, how often do you send out the magazine?
I do it quarterly.
Okay. Okay. Yep. I'm about the same. And it's interesting though. It's hard to measure, but it's so weird. If I really took and paid attention to what happens after it drops, I know that there's something because you're on top of their mind, right? And then all of a sudden, here comes the referrals. And I won't say that they always result in a sale right then and there after the publication was mailed out, but I know for a fact that I probably get at least 4 transactions a year from sending out that publication, on average. So I send it out quarterly like you. So let's just say each publication is resulting at least one sale, one
Yeah,
transaction.
that's pretty
Um,
amazing, actually. I should probably pay better attention to
it
gauge
it does,
its
yeah,
activity.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's, and
Yeah.
because it looks like a real magazine, I feel like people just leave it on the counters a little more. They don't toss it out because if they feel bad, you know, people paid money for it.
I know.
And so it's not like a postcard where you can just easily get tossed in the trash.
So
Yeah.
it's always nice when you go to the listing appointment or there, like I had one where they'd been getting a publication and I'm going in there and I'm like, I'm looking at my magazines literally on
It's
the
cute,
front counter.
right?
It's like, yeah, it's super
And they
cute.
send me extras. They'll send me about 20 to 30 extra. And what I
Hmm.
do, I'll use those, like you said, for listing presentations as a
Hmm.
handout, or when I do an
Yep.
open house, I'll send them home
Right.
with a little freebie. Here, you get a magazine.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
postcard.
exactly. Exactly.
So it
No,
just looks
that's
very
wonderful.
professional.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've tried Facebook. I've tried Facebook for advertising that I didn't really see much result, really, or even
Hmm.
Instagram.
Right.
I will post on a lot on Instagram, but I don't really think it's also hard to gauge, right? Just to have
Right.
my face out
Yes.
there, but it's not where I'm getting business from.
Gotcha. Gotcha. We're coming to an end, so I'm gonna kind of like cut this down and then we'll open up if there's anybody that had any comments or questions. But what would you say is the biggest hurdle or objection you learned or overcame in real estate, big or small? The biggest objection or hurdle that
Um,
you
I think just really not I think not taking rejection personally. I used to be really hurt when you have a best friend or a cousin or I'm sure
oh
everybody
yeah.
had one of those happen,
Oh
and that
yeah.
happens anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No,
just not
that's
to take it
awesome.
personally. People, you never know their motivations. You don't know who they're talking to. It really has nothing to do with you. If they were asking for free advice the entire time, they obviously knew that you were good enough to ask for advice. But somebody else talking to their ear or whoever the case may be, I just learned to kind of grow a thicker skin and just be okay with it and let them know, you know what, it's your loss.
So I love that. That I think too, when I think back on the challenges that I've seen, it was more or less getting over that. Not to say because it does hurt. It hurts.
It
And I
hurts.
know
It still
we
hurts. Yeah.
it does. It's like, what the heck? Are you
Yeah.
serious? And it's like, okay, now I can sit and I can bask in this, or I can just figure out my next person who's ready to go, thank them. I'm not
Right. Yeah.
walking around like you're an enemy or anything like that. But yeah,
But
yeah.
the
And
best
like you said,
revenge
just
is when they
don't
come
take it
back to you.
exactly.
The
And
best
don't
revenge is
take
they
it
come back to you
personal.
because they were not sure what happened with the other agent, or they're just not very confident. And I
Exactly.
always say, these are questions that should be asked to your agent.
Yeah. And I've had it. I've had it where they're like, oh my God, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just so sorry. This
Yeah.
person was in my face. And sometimes I've gotten a comment that I come off busy. Although, I mean, I can be busy, but
We
my
are
goal is
busy.
to
Yeah.
make sure nobody feels that or knows that. So it's like, you were too busy for me. Never. Promise you, I'm not.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
The
No,
best
that was
clients are the
one.
ones actually that have had a bad experience with another agent, and then they come on to you and they realize such a stark difference because the way that I work anyways, the biggest compliment that I get from my loan officer is that of all the agents that she works with, she says, I have the most loyal clients because for every question that she'll ask them, they say whatever Sava says, whatever Sava says. She's like, they trust everything you say because I do have the best intentions at heart. Ultimately, you're there to provide a service and they have
Right.
to see the value in that. And if they can see that you are there, you have their back, you are jumping hoops for them, going over and beyond, then that little show.
It does. It does. And they come back and then they refer, they give you reviews, all the things.
All of that,
Yeah.
which is what we
Yeah.
live for. I love the gratification that I get from this feedback. It just really makes all the crazy hard work that this industry gets us into worth it in the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you, Sava. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are right at 6:01. I
My
wanted
pleasure.
to, if it's okay, just open up for a few questions. If there was anybody who had a question, something maybe I didn't ask, um, do you want to pop in the chat? And
Let me see if I can
let's
do
see
that.
here.
Here we go.
Let's see. Is there anybody has anything?
Hello.
Hi. Hi,
Hi,
Proska.
Candice. How are you guys?
Hi.
Um, sorry, I'm driving and a little busy. I wanted to see how long it took you to get your business together, like to do better in business. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, it was definitely a process. It was not overnight. I think it took a lot of, I've been doing this since 2015, not exactly full time. So it took
Uh-huh.
many, many years of building these relationships, living in the same area, just really getting involved with my kids at school, their sports, anywhere where I can have connections with people. So it's definitely not an overnight kind of growth. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Wonderful.
takes time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question.
Thank you.
Here's a good one. Any advice on winning multiple offers in today's market? Do you do a CMA for each offer that you make?
That's a very good question. And it's crazy that we're back to the bidding wars that we saw a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just actually won an offer on a multiple bidding or multiple offer bidding order just recently. And the way that I went in after having lost already on two of these offers or two previous properties, I let my buyer know this is where we're up against. Let's put our best foot forward. We know where we're at. Bring in what is your highest now instead of doing
Yep.
escalations. Bring everything and say this is your highest and best from the start.
Right.
And obviously this property was underlisted. I get it. They got a lot of attention, and we just came in, with full throttle, best and highest. Luckily they were 20% down. They were very, very good buyers. But I wrote a really nice presentation. I said, here's how solid we are. I was in continuous communication. I think I was the only agent that kept pestering the listing agent. And they had signed off around before they even told me that they accepted it. So I think persistence,
Nice.
just kind of like staying on their case.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I have had
Yeah.
one case where they're like, we're afraid of you. I think we're just going to go with you because you may know where I live. Jokingly, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So asking questions, get as much information as you possibly can, prepare your buyer for their highest and best,
Highest and best. On this particular
And-
case, I even went to the open house, which was a madhouse. And I ended up spending the entire 3-hour open house that they had just to
Right.
kind of like, eavesdrop some people, see what was happening, who was thinking to offer. So I really put my time and just created a really good rapport with the agent. So when I submitted the offer, I told them, I'm the one who sat there with you for 3 hours on the open house.
Let's see here. And then let me see here. Okay. What is the number one thing you tell someone if they ask you, is now a good time to buy or sell?
For buying, I think I always advise my buyers it's always a good time to buy. What is the alternative? Give me your numbers. How much are you paying on rent? Let's look at what's going to happen in 2 years of you paying almost $3,000 in rent versus if you're to put that into a mortgage. And most likely your rent is going to go higher every year. Whereas with your mortgage, you lock it in and it never goes up. So I just run numbers. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
For sellers, it really depends on the motivation. What is driving the sale? Do they have to sell because family emergency? They want downsize, upsize. So it's never like a one constant answer. It's judging it from their situation.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful. And then let me see here. I've got one last question here. On your listing, what is the percentage you get your clients above asking price? I'm guessing, for your listings, are they most often selling above asking?
Most of the time, last year was not the case. Some cases were either asking or buyers just had a lot more leverage, as we know, so they'd ask for selling or closing costs.
Right.
In this market, I just listed my own property in Des Moines, and it went a good 30,000 over asking. So there really isn't a percentage. It's just really what is the market doing in that particular time.
I totally agree. And I think sometimes it has to do too. Sometimes we have sellers who are not realistic of listing price, and we've got to find that happy medium in listing. So it might, here's where we are, here's where we're listing, here's my recommendation, we're going here, and let's see how it plays out, right?
Right. I
So,
don't really guarantee a percentage or specific number. Say, judging on the market, on our best analysis, this is where we should start at, and then we'll let the market decide. Obviously,
Yeah.
your negotiation skills will come into place, your knowledge, your experience, all of that. But that's what I've hired you, and the goal is to exceed expectations. But
right.
yeah,
Gotta hope that everybody's on the same page, being realistic too.
exactly.
Yes. Oh, this was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Was there any other questions? Anything that I missed? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Anything that you want to add or share that we did not discuss?
No, I just really appreciate you guys having me on. I was a little nervous because, for as much as a people person that I am, this is I don't do this very often. So yeah, thank you for putting up with me. Any questions you guys may have, you can always reach out to me personally. Other than that, just get out there selling and don't give up. Just hustle away.
Yes, this was
It's really
excellent.
rewarding.
Yeah, this was amazing. Shannon said she would definitely sell with you.
Oh, that's such a huge compliment, Shannon. I love it.
Yes, yes. Lots of thank yous on here. So
Oh,
thank you
thank you
for your
guys.
time, Sava. We appreciate you. This was great. I enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too bad.
Oh no, I really enjoyed it too. Let's do it more often.
Oh, good.
Or see you guys
Okay.
around the office.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. If there's nothing else, you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you all soon.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you so
Good
much for
night.
your time, Sava.